Hello everyone, my name is Chad Salmola, and welcome to my first iLogic tutorial. I'll be doing a series of these iLogic tutorials for Catomatic.com. My hope is that people will be able to use these tutorials to learn how to use iLogic and get more involved with it and use them in their inventor models. So if you don't know a lot about iLogic, what iLogic is it's a way to create rules inside of your inventor models, your part files, your assemblies, and your drawings. And it allows you to automate your process, remove some human error, and of course make things a lot faster. So hopefully these tutorials can help to show you how to do that, and you get some use out of these and can apply this in your daily work. So let's get started. If you haven't already found the iLogic tab and found the browser and stuff, it's over here. It's on the Manage tab. So click on the Manage tab and go to the iLogic panel on your ribbon. You'll find, I like to have the iLogic browser open. So click on the browser, it pops the browser up, and I like to keep it over at the bottom of my browser, or my main browser, for the inventor part. Now I created a rule called example 1 already. All you have to do is hit the add rule button and a dialog box pops up. Name your rule and hit OK. I already have a rule, so I'm just going to double click on it and I'm going to get my rule to pop up. Now I haven't done anything to the rule yet, I just made it, but I'm going to show you around the user interface a little bit. We have a snippets window over here on the left, and that's going to show snippets. So basically what snippets are is if you need some code and you're going to want to do something where, like, if you want to do something to a component and you want to replace a component, you can find the replace snippet in the components category, double click on it, and what it does is it drops your code in for you. So you've got your code, it tells you it's looking for a part name right there, and then it wants the other name of what you're going to replace it with. And that's really all there is, to writing a iLogic rule. Not really all there is, but it can be as simple as that. There's obviously a lot more to it that can be done, but it can be quite simple. Up here you have a browser, and this is going to be just like your browser in Inventor. Right now we haven't done anything to the part, so there's nothing to really show in there. You have an options tab, so you can suppress rules, you can do things like that. There's a search and replace feature so that you can search and find words and replace them with other things. And then there's a couple of wizards for doing some stuff to walk you through a couple of things. I'm not going to go into any of those kind of things right now. These tutorials are going to be here to show you how to actually do the stuff on your own. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a couple of parameters. I'm just going to write programming is one of those things when you see programming books or programming learning guides and stuff, they always do their little hello world programs. So I just, for a long time, I was all really sick of those things, but as I've been around programming longer, it's kind of cracks me up a little bit now that everybody just keeps doing that. So we're going to do a little hello world thing. So we're just going to add some text, and we're going to call this text our message. Alright, and so the message will be something. I'm not going to really do anything right there, and we'll hit done. We'll go back to our rule, and the reason I made that parameter was just so that I can show you that when you make a parameter in Inventor, now you can see up in my part we have a new box that popped up, or a column that popped up here called user parameters. Now we've got message here, and message doesn't equal anything. We didn't give it a message. So what we're going to do is we're just going to double click on message, and it pops down here in the code window. Now when you see the colors and things that happen in iLogic, they mean something. A blue word means that it's a parameter inside of Inventor. So this is a direct parameter inside Inventor, and it's just message, and I'm just going to tell it that message equals, we have to put it in quotation marks because messages are strings. String is a text variable. So the message is going to be hello world. Alright, so we've simply created a rule here that we're telling message to equal hello world. So now when I hit OK, I'm going to update my part, I go to my parameters, and you can see here that my equation says hello world. And you can also see that there's a driving rule column that tells me that example 1 is now controlling this equation. See, I can change this to something else. When I hit enter, it's going to go back to hello world. And the reason for that is that example 1 is actually telling message what to equal. Okay? So I go back to example 1. I've got my message, hello world, and now I'm going to simply create a message box. I'm going to create a message box. I go to the message box category, I double click the word show, it drops in the code for me. Messagebox.show means message box, it's going to show it, and then the parentheses that you see after that are called, it's looking for arguments, it's looking for input. So the first thing that it's asking you for, and it's telling you right there, it wants a message, and then it also is telling you that it wants a title for that message box. Now the message, you can see that mine is blue and this one is this teal color or green color, whatever it is. And because it's in quotes, it's a string, so it's just it would just put message in there right now. But I don't want that to be message. The string, I want it to be message the parameter. So I'm going to double click on message, and I get message. I could have typed it as well. I just like to show that you can double click up here because that makes things a lot easier. So we've got message, and then for the title, I'm just going to put example text box. No, I'm going to make that message box. Alright, just so you can see where that shows up on the message box. Now what's going to happen when I run this rule, when I hit OK, it's going to run the rule, because that's what it does. So it's going to say, it's going to change message to equals hello world, which it already does, but it's going to do it again. And then it's going to pop up a message box, and that message box is going to show me my message, and it's also going to give me a title for that box. And there it is. Of course, my text was too long for my title, but you can see there that it says hello world. I have an OK button, and my rule is done. Now, I don't want my rule to fire automatically, okay? I want the rule to run only when I tell it to. So I'm going to hit suppressed, and I'm going to not run the rule automatically. I'd like you to see some of these options in use here. This is just part of the very simple stuff that we're going to be doing here with iLogic. But what I want to do now is I want to show you that in this Forms tab, we have a way, this is part of iLogic as well. We can add a form, and from this form we can put our rules. So we have this message rule. We have this message thing. We have a rule here called example 1. I'm going to put example 1 right onto my form. I just drag it over into form 1, and you can see that I get an example 1 button. Alright, so it gives me a button. Now I'm going to come down, I'm going to click on the form, and I'm going to change this to just my message form. Alright, so I can call it whatever I want, but that's what I'm going to call it. And in the appearances, there's some things that you can change in here. We can change, visual style is set to default. I could change it to Windows XP, which didn't look like it did a whole lot. I can make it flat, ultra flat. You got 3D. We can go back if you like the Office 2003 look. Personally, I tend to like this Dev Express dark style. But you can change these around to different things. And if I wanted to change what the button says, I'm going to say just call message box. Alright, so basically that rule is going to run our hello world and call message box. So I'm just going to hit OK and be done, and then you're going to see that it pops in this button called message form. So now when I hit this button, I get a form that pops up, and I click on call message box, and it runs our little code and it calls up the hello world. Now I know that this tutorial here didn't show you a whole lot to get you started per se with parts and assemblies, but I just wanted to get you introduced, get your feet wet a little bit, and show you some of the things that we're gonna be using. Writing some rules, using forms. I like to use forms a lot because they just make life a lot easier. So I hope you enjoyed this first tutorial, and I'll see you at the next one. Goodbye.